in today's show, and we are starting with the global story that is moving markets right now, and that is oil. After surging above $100 per barrel, oil suddenly pulled back after new comments from President Trump on the Iran war and the Strait of Hormuz. We'll break down what he said, why oil dropped so quickly, and what the market is now pricing in. Then we'll look at something very interesting, a warning coming out from Sweden, where the central bank is now telling citizens to keep cash at home in case war, cyber attacks, or system failures knock out digital payments. It is a very powerful reminder that when digital systems fail, people still need something real in the pocket. After that, we'll move into the AI race, where ChatGPT is starting to lose market share for the first time in a very serious way, with Google Gemini, Claude, Grok all gaining ground. Then we'll get into a viral Bitcoin debate after Hollywood actor Terrence Howard said he believes Bitcoin is going to die, and we'll break down why that view still missed the point of how Bitcoin actually works. From there, we'll jump into Bitcoin TA, Bitcoin analysis, then today's alpha token idea coming from Arthur Hayes, who said the Hyperliquid could be one of the most important crypto projects to watch this year. And later in the show, we'll be joined by a special guest to go deep into the details of crypto marketing, from PR and KOL strategy to how Web3 projects can actually win attention in today's crowded market. We'll be speaking with Mary Pedler of Input Global, so stay with us for that conversation. For now, let's get started with the oil market and the sudden move lower after Donald Trump's comment on Iran. So, after surging above $100 per barrel on the whole Brent crude oil earlier this week, oil prices suddenly dropped. At one point, prices fell as much as 10%. And the reason comes down to comments from the US President, Sir Donald Trump, about the war with Iran and the future of oil flows through Strait of Hormuz. So as of right now, Brent crude oil is trading at $93 per barrel, down more than 4%. Meanwhile, US crude oil dropped to around $91 per barrel, falling nearly 4% as well. This is a V-shaped reversal because just hours earlier, oil prices has surged nearly 20% due to fears that the conflict in the Middle East could disrupt global energy supplies. But then the market suddenly shifts. So what happened? Well, President Trump made two major statements that moved the market. So the first thing, he suggested the war with Iran could end very, very soon. That comment helped calm investors who were worried about a prolonged conflict in the region. But later in the day, Donald Trump also issued a very strong warning to Iran. He said if Iran attempts to block oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, the US would respond 20 times harder. In a post online, Donald Trump warned that any attempt to stop oil flows would trigger a major military response. Now, the Strait of Hormuz, this location is extremely important for global energy markets. So this strait is sitting between Iran and also Oman is down here. And this is one of the most important shipping routes among the whole world. Roughly 31% of global seaborne oil moves through this very narrow waterway. That includes oil exports from major producers like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Oman, UAE, etc. So if shipping through this strait is disrupted, global oil markets feel the impact immediately. Energy analysts say the market is now trying to understand just how serious this disruption could be. Some traders believe the situation may calm down quickly. Others say it's still too early to know how Iran will respond, because if oil infrastructure or tankers are attacked, the situation could escalate again and very, very quickly. For now, the market appears to be betting the disruption will not last that long. So meanwhile, governments are already preparing some backup plans. Energy minister from the group of 7 nations, so G7 in other words. So G7 nations are now discussing the possibility of releasing emergency oil reserves. These reserves are actually quite massive. G7 countries collectively hold about 1.2 billion barrels of emergency oil stockpiles, and officials are discussing a possible coordinated release of 300 to 400 million barrels to stabilize the market if needed. The International Energy Agency has also confirmed that it is monitoring the situation very, very closely. So the bigger picture for oil is that global oil markets are now extremely sensitive to geopolitical headlines. Just a few comments from political leaders can send prices surging or collapsing within hours. That's because the Middle East still sits at the center of the global energy system, and any disruption to oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to move markets very, very quickly. For now, traders are watching two key questions. So the first, which is like how Iran responds to the latest warnings, and second, whether oil shipping through the strait continues without major disruption, because the answer to those questions could determine where oil prices go next. Speaking of volatile times, many countries are now preparing for further escalation, and some even telling the citizens to take countermeasures to protect themselves. One country we are looking into today is Sweden, where the central bank is now advising citizens to keep physical cash at home in case of war or any major crisis. So the bank, which is Sweden's central bank, says every adult should hold at least 1,000 Swedish kronor, which is about 110 bucks US in cash. So the reason for doing such thing is if a war or cyber attack or power outage takes down digital payment systems, people can still have a way to buy food, medicine, and basic supplies. And the message from the central bank is quite simple. If digital systems stop working, we need something that does not rely on a server. Now the story is especially interesting because Sweden is one of the most cashless societies in the world. Many stores and restaurants in Sweden do not accept cash anymore. According to a recent survey, about 27% of Swedish citizens say they never use cash at all. That is the highest rate in Europe. Most payments in the country happen through bank cards or mobile apps. Services like Swish or Apple Pay or Google Pay are widely used in the country, but that convenience, of course, comes with a hidden cost, with a hidden risk. If the digital payment system goes down, the entire system could stop working. That's where the central bank is issuing this statement. So the bank has warned about this problem before. Officials say the decline of cash in society could create a national vulnerability because modern payment systems depend on several things working at the same time. So that include electricity, internet networks, payment servers, and also bank systems. If any of those systems fail during a crisis, people could suddenly lose the ability to make payments. That's why Sweden's central bank is now encouraging citizens to prepare backup payment options. They also recommend people to carry physical bank cards, use multiple banks, and avoid relying only on a mobile payment. The timing of this warning is also very important because Sweden joined NATO in 2024 after decades of neutrality. This decision came after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which raised security concerns across Europe. The Swedish government has already sent a crisis preparedness guide to every household. It includes instructions on emergency supplies, water storage, power outages, and how to access news during emergencies. Several European countries are now working together on civilian evacuation plans in case of major conflict. Countries like Finland, like Norway, have already issued similar advice about keeping cash. So this is quite interesting. Sweden is also planning another safety measure. The government says that by 1st of July, citizens should have access to offline payment systems for essential goods like food and medicine. That means people should still be able to make payments even if internet systems fail completely. But there is a major irony in this story. Sweden spent 2 decades pushing society toward digital payments. Cash become less and less common. Now the same country is warning that total digital dependence could be too risky. In other words, the system that replaces cash may not always work during a crisis. And the bigger lesson here, applies far beyond just Sweden. Many modern payment systems rely on electricity, internet access, and centralized servers. Most of the time, these systems work perfectly, but the real question is what happens during the small percentage of time when they don't? That's why central banks are now talking about payment redundancy. Cash is one backup. Hard assets like gold have historically been another. And interesting, some people also see Bitcoin as a different kind of resilience. Unlike traditional payment systems, Bitcoin runs on a global decentralized network, not a single bank or a company. So even if parts of the system go down, the network itself can continue operating. But for everyday emergency, the advice from Sweden remains simple. Make sure you have basic supplies, some cash and backup ways just to pay. Because when the screens go dark, digital payments may not be enough. All right, so we will take a short break from here. And when we come back, we are diving into the AI world because the AI competition is getting more keen and ChatGPT is losing market share. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Security matters. Zappo Bank. The only way to bank your Bitcoin. Apply now at zappobank.com.
So, tell us about your furry friend here. What's his name?
Oh, this? This is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
He's not just a cat, he's family.
Quite a name, and I must say, looks quite pampered.
Oh, absolutely. Bitcoin deserves nothing but the best. He's my little prince.
But with such a valuable pet, aren't you afraid of losing him?
Losing Bitcoin? No, it never happened before, so it's not something I worry about. Excuse me for a moment. Bitcoin, stay here, right?
Bitcoin, no! Bitcoin, come on, little buddy, Bitcoin, I need you. Don't go.
In a world far away. Nah, just kidding. This story begins in this world. It all started in 1460 in Antwerp, when the first commodities exchange was created, but the real transformation came in 1602, when the Amsterdam Stock Exchange was founded. Considered the oldest in the world, it was the first to trade financial assets. Over the years, Britain expanded its colonial and maritime influence, and the British pound sterling overtook the Dutch guilder in the market. Thus, the London Stock Exchange became the financial centre of the world. The 20th century came, and the world got into some trouble. But shortly after World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement established the dollar as the world's primary reserve currency, and the centre of the planet moved to Wall Street. Today, we're travelling at the speed of light towards a new age, an era shaped by the consolidation of Bitcoin as the currency that will define the future of the markets. We present Roxum, a new Bitcoin-denominated market that allows trading all sorts of securities, commodities, derivatives, options, and anything you can imagine. Rocksome, rock-solid markets.
Some call me Chicken Little, others Bubble Boy. I'm a bit changed, but sounds familiar, right? Let me tell you a hard truth. The S&P isn't rising, the dollar's falling. That's the trick. Monopoly money. It's ice melting by the second. Your savings, your salary, your time. Worth less every second. Everyone's using the wrong measuring stick. Switch the denominator. Price the S&P into Bitcoin. Hard, fixed, unprintable. Suddenly your unstoppable index, it's collapsing. And while you cling to dollars, well, Wall Street already switched. Before, you needed 2 brokers.
Still getting my ninja bonus though, right?
Plenty of spreadsheets. And my quant!
I hate this part.
I was right, and I'll be right again. If I were you, I'd thank me.
You know my name's Dave, right?
Welcome back to Rockstone TV, and thanks for sticking around with us. We're now going to shift gear a little bit and dive into AI. Like, something very interesting is happening in the AI realm. For the past 3 years, ChatGPT basically dominated the AI chatbot market, but that dominance is now starting to weaken. According to new industry data, ChatGPT's app market share has dropped sharply over the past year. So in January 2025, ChatGPT controlled around 69% of the AI app market. But by January 2026, that number had fallen to around 45%. That is a very big drop in just 1 year. And we are seeing a similar trend on the web. ChatGPT's share of global AI chatbot traffic has fallen from about 87% down to roughly 64 to 68%. In other words, that monopoly that once defined consume AI is now pretty over. The market is becoming more competitive. So one of the biggest winners, of course, we have to look at is Google. So Google's AI chatbot Gemini has grown very, very quickly. Over the past year, Gemini's web market share almost quadrupled, rising from about 5% to more than 21%. On mobile apps, Gemini's share also climbed from 15% to around 25%, and that user number are huge. Gemini now has over 750 million monthly active users, and it recently passed 2 billion web visits in a single month. Google has a major advantage here. Gemini is already built into many Google products that include Search, Android, Chrome, Gmail, Google Docs, and Workspace. So many users don't even need to download an AI app. It's simply already there inside the tools they use every single day. Another new players that we have to talk about is, of course, Elon Musk's Grok AI. Over the past year, Grok's mobile app market share jumped from 1.6% to more than 15%. That puts it ahead of Perplexity in the rankings. Meanwhile, Anthropic's Claude has a smaller share of total traffic, but it performs very strongly in user engagement. On average, Claude users spend about 34 minutes a day on the platform. That's actually the highest engagement time among major AI chatbots. Claude also recently became the #1 free app on the US App Store for the first time. So inside OpenAI, leadership is very much aware of the growing competition. So last year, CEO Sam Altman actually reportedly sent a code red to ChatGPT employees. So the focus was on improving areas where competitors were catching up. So that includes things like personalization, reliability, and image generation, all areas where companies like Google and Anthropic are gaining ground. And OpenAI has been moving aggressively to respond. The company is expanding ChatGPT with shopping features, web search, plugins, image tools, and custom GPTs. It has also secured massive investment, including billions of dollars from NVIDIA, and there are reports OpenAI could eventually pursue an IPO value around $550 to $650 billion. So there's like a very interesting challenge here. As ChatGPT adds more feature, the product is becoming more complex. Some user experience researchers say the interface now creates decision fatigue for users. In contrast, competitors like Claude, like Gemini, are keeping their interfaces a lot simpler. And sometimes in technology, simplicity can actually be a competitive advantage. Right now, the AI market appears to be forming a three-way race. So OpenAI still leads on consumer scale. Meanwhile, Google has the advantage of massive ecosystem integration, and Anthropic is becoming in enterprise and professional use cases. Other players like Microsoft Copilot, Perplexity, and Grok are still growing, but they are fighting for smaller parts of the market. So the key takeaway of this news, ChatGPT is still the largest AI platform in the world, but that gap between ChatGPT and its competitors is closing very, very quickly. And for the first time since the AI boom started, the industry is starting to look like a real competitive race, which means the next phase of the AI market could move much faster than the first one. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and take a look at what a Hollywood actor said about Bitcoin. And a comment about Bitcoin definitely gained a lot of attention on crypto Twitter. So this actor is none other than Terrence Howard himself, and he's now making headlines about saying he believes Bitcoin could eventually die. He made the remarks during an interview on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David. During the conversation, Howard said he's staying away from Bitcoin and crypto. According to him, Bitcoin could be wiped out with the push of a button somewhere. In other words, he believes the network could be shut down if powerful groups and governments decide to do it. Howard also argued that Bitcoin still depends on the US dollar. He said its value is connected to fiat money, and because fiat currencies are losing purchasing power, he believes Bitcoin is not a safe system either. Because of that, Howard said he has chosen to stay free and clear of Bitcoin and crypto altogether. Now, let's talk about how the internet reacts. So, these comments quickly spread across social media, and that sparked a huge debate online. Not because criticism of Bitcoin is something new, but because the arguments he made reflect one of the most common misunderstanding about Bitcoin. The idea that someone can simply turn Bitcoin off. So here's the key point. Bitcoin is not a company, it's not a website, it's not a server sitting in one building somewhere. Bitcoin is open source software that runs on computers all around the world. Right now, there are tens of thousands of independent nodes running the Bitcoin network. These computers are spread across different countries, different companies, different individuals. So there's no single switch that can shut down Bitcoin. Even if one government tries to ban it, the network continues running in other parts of the world. We've actually seen this happen before. So when China banned Bitcoin mining back in 2021, many people thought the network could collapse. Instead, miners simply moved to other countries, like US included, and the network recovered within months. But moments like this in this podcast is actually very interesting because when even high-profile and very successful people misunderstand how Bitcoin works, it tells us something important. It shows that technology is still very early in its adoption cycle, many people still think Bitcoin works like a company or financial product that can be shut down. But in reality, Bitcoin is closer to a global open network that runs independently of any government or central authority. So while criticism of Bitcoin will always exist no matter what, discussions like this also highlight something else. The world is still learning what Bitcoin actually is. And when that understanding grows, the conversation around Bitcoin tends to change as well. Of course, we'll keep watching how this debate evolves as Bitcoin adoption continues around the world. So speaking of Bitcoin, let's do a very quick price analysis before we move on to another news of the day. So Bitcoin right now is sitting at 70K, like we are on a nice little controlled rally. I mean, this is like not very surprising because if we go to the monthly return of Bitcoin, so if we scroll down, like we have seen 5 consecutive red months of Bitcoin. Like throughout the entire Bitcoin history, there are only one instance that happened throughout the entire Bitcoin 17 years of history, and that was back in 2018. So that was actually a 6 consecutive months. So August of 2018 so this red month momentum carry all the way till January 2019. So right now we are on the 6th month. Let's see if we close with a green number because it has dropped quite severely. It's interesting to say like how people still think there's a super cycle because institutions are in. I mean, they didn't expect like a 50% correction would be in fact would happen because institutions, the big guys are here, but like look at the gold market. Like institutions are in the gold market for a very long time, yet the price is still so volatile. So this is one thing I find it quite ironic when people put it that way about the super cycle. But anyways, that is not to say we are not having a relief rally, and this relief rally has been quite I would say like expected, but like joyful if you are trading momentum like this, like I am. So what I've put here is this rising support trend. So as long as we hold and basically bounce off at this like critical support level, like this rally still in control and still will continue. Like are we gonna continue till all the way till April? I'm not sure yet, but like for TA, we just like take things one at a time because we're looking at the probability. However, I would say so. Like I drew this region, so basically between 77K around to 80K. That is a huge resistance. So in other words, like I won't be surprised, like, okay, if we manage, like the scenario is like, if we manage to hold above this rising support trend, like maybe we're gonna get close. But like, however, I do not think like between 77 to 80K, like basically inside this rectangle, we're gonna find huge resistance. So I don't have much conviction but that Bitcoin will manage to stay inside this region or break above, maybe like wicking above a little bit, but like for a daily candle actually closing about 80K, I still have strong doubt and I still doesn't have a strong conviction. So however, this relief rally looks like it's still in control because like if we hop onto the RSI, so the daily RSI at the bottom, so similar to the price action, like whenever for the RSI even try to get close to this like rising support, we just happen to bounce back. So this is a nice thing that I like to see as well. However, like as I mentioned, I'm not turning bullish anytime soon. Though that being said, okay, no one can time the bottom perfectly well, okay? Not even Warren Buffett will know what S&P 500 going to be tomorrow. So point being, we are just like making the, based on TA, making decision based on probability, okay? So what my strategy right now is like, okay, Bitcoin at 70K is actually quite a fair price to enter, not investment advice. Of course, I'm just telling you what I'm doing personally, and I don't know your financial situation. But like, I would say this, like from an all-time high of 126K down to, okay, if we take the low, because we dropped to 60K, so that is like a 52% correction. So getting into the market right now, I would say is a good deal, like a fairly good deal for Bitcoin. Like though we might not call the cycle bottom exactly right at the right time at all, but like even 70K right now, it looks cheap. So if we take the all-time high to where we are right now, 70K. So that is like a 44% correction. So 44% cheaper from its all-time high. It's definitely not a bad deal. So as I mentioned, like to my community, I set up a few buy orders around like 63 to 64K because I did see some first of all, wait, where's the horizontal line? So there you go. So 63, 64K, that is sort of the mid-level of this consolidation period. So we have been building up that since February 2024 before like a real breakout happened in November 2024. So like in other words, like months of chopping around. So that's why I enter around 63, 64K. Again, this is not, I'm not saying this is the cycle bottom. If we look at the 4-year cycle, like according to the 4-year cycle, the cycle bottom is not going to happen till 5th of October 2026. So this is a level I'm eyeing. So okay, I know that these are just patterns that happen, okay, 2 or 3 times before throughout the Bitcoin history, but like Bitcoin has only been around for 17 years. So like in my opinion, like the 4-year cycle is a huge, very controversial topic, but like since it has been playing out and it looks like it's playing out rather well because we call the bottom on exactly 6th of October 2025. So like that being said, if we look at the relief rally that happened in the previous cycle, like that happened to be aligned as well. Well, you know what? Actually, use another chart. This looks clearer. So, yeah. So according to the previous cycle back in 2022, the bear market, like we had a relief rally, like before actually losing and going to the cycle bottom. So here we have the bear flag pattern, and then we drop to the actually we try to go to the 200-week moving average. So we didn't touch, but like 200-week moving average is a reference we could look at. But if we look at the previous cycle, we actually went below the 200-week moving average, so being the yellow line right here. So if we zoom closer, like there was some relief rally. So it's not like a straight down to hell. And then before getting to the absolute cycle bottom at 15.5K. So we still had that tiny relief rally. Like we still have like the chops around here. Like after losing the initial 50-week moving average, we still pump like try to close above the 50-week moving average. And that was back in March 2022. And it's very interesting. It happened in March again. So yeah, I mean, this pump, it doesn't look like as strong as the previous cycle that we had. Like if we take the absolute bottom, so that absolute bottom of January 2022 to a top of March 2022, like this rally, it was a 46% rally in the previous cycle. And if we zoom closer to this cycle, what is happening right now? So like we drop below the 50-week moving average. And unlike the previous week, like previous cycle that tried to close above the 50-week, this time, this cycle, the momentum has been so weak that we haven't even tried to get close to the 50-week moving average. So yeah, I mean, this relief rally has been joyful, but like I'm still not calling for the exact cycle bottom, and we'll just like take it day by day, week by week, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Anyway, so here's the quick update on the Bitcoin's price. I do want to hop onto some altcoins right now, and there is a very bold prediction from one of the most well-known names in crypto, and that is none other than Arthur Hayes. So the founder of BitMEX, he said he's very bullish on Hyperliquid, which is a very fast-growing decentralized DEX, so DEX. So in a new analysis posted by Arthur Hayes argues that the platform's token, so Hyperliquid, so HYPE, could rise 5 times in value within the next few months. His price target is around $150 per token. So right now we are sitting at $34 today. So that is a very aggressive prediction. But Arthur Hayes believes the fundamentals are very strong. So let's go to the article that he wrote. So according to Arthur Hayes, the key reasons are quite simple. First one is revenue. So Hyperliquid is currently one of the largest revenue generating projects in the crypto industry, outside of stablecoins, of course. And the platform returns about 97% of that revenue back to the ecosystem by buying back hype tokens from the market. In other words, the more trading activity the platform generates, the more demand it can create for its own token. That's similar to how companies buy back their own shares. And Arthur Hayes say this model could push the price higher if trading volume continues to grow. Another reason is Hyperliquid is part of a growing trend in crypto. The shift from centralized exchanges like Binance, like Coinbase, toward decentralized exchanges like DEX. So these platforms allow traders to trade directly on blockchain networks instead of relying on a centralized company. Arthur Hayes believes Hyperliquid has become the dominant decentralized exchange for perpetual future trading, and that's huge market. Perpetual futures allow traders to bet on crypto prices with leverage, and the trading volume can be extremely large. Another very interesting point Arthur Hayes make is that Hyperliquid does not need the entire crypto market to grow in order to increase revenue. Instead, it only needs to capture a very small portion of that trading volume from centralized exchanges. Arthur Hayes estimates that if just 4% of this of centralized exchanges that trading shifts to Hyperliquid, that platform's revenue could double. And if that happens, the value of the hype token could rise significantly. And not to mention, Hyperliquid is also launching new products that could increase activity on the platform. For example, a system called HIP3, which allows users to create their own trading market without permission. That means like traders can launch future markets for assets like gold, silver, stock index, or other financial products, all running directly on the blockchain. Arthur Hayes says like these new markets can attract global traders who want 24-hour access and higher leverage than traditional finance offers. Another point Arthur Hayes raised is like it highlights something called real liquidity. In the crypto industry, some exchanges inflate the trading numbers through fake volume or incentive programs. But Arthur Hayes argues that Hyperliquid shows strong and real trading activity based on metrics like open interest and order book liquidity. In simple terms, traders appear to be using the platform with real capital, not just for farming some rewards. That strengthens the platform's long-term credibility. He also believes the token may be undervalued compared to traditional financial exchanges. Right now, Hype trades at roughly 12 times earning based on platform revenue, but traditional exchange companies like CME, like Robinhood, and Coinbase often trade at much higher valuation multiples. If investors start valuing Hyperliquid more like those companies, Arthur Hayes believes the token price could move even higher. Of course, predictions like this always come with risk. The crypto market is very competitive, and many exchanges are trying to capture trading volume, but Arthur Hayes believes Hyperliquid currently has strong momentum, real users, and growing revenue. And in a market where many crypto projects struggle to generate real income, that combination could make the platform stand out. For now, Arthur Hayes say Hype has become one of his biggest altcoin positions, and he believes it could be one of the most important crypto projects to watch this year. Of course, any crypto investment, there are always risks. But what makes this story interesting is that Arthur Hayes is focused on something like many projects still struggle, which is real revenue and real users. All right, so we'll take a short break here, and when we come back, we'll be joined by a special guest who understands one of the most important parts of the crypto industry, which is marketing and narrative building. Joining us will be Mary Pedler, who's the founder of Input Global, one of the leading Web3 PR and communication agency based in Dubai. Her team has worked with major crypto companies on media strategy, events, influencer campaigns, and she'll be helping us break down what actually works when it comes to building attention and credibility in the crypto industry. So don't go away, we'll be right back.
Security matters. Zappo Bank, the only way to bank your Bitcoin. Apply now at zappobank.com.
So, tell us about your furry friend here. What's his name?
Oh, this? This is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's not just a cat, he's family.
Quite a name, and I must say, looks quite pampered.
Oh, absolutely. Bitcoin deserves nothing but the best. He's my little prince.
But with such a valuable pet, aren't you afraid of losing him?
Losing Bitcoin? No, it never happened before, so it's not something I worry about. Excuse me for a moment. Bitcoin, stay here, right?
Bitcoin, no! Bitcoin, come on, little buddy, Bitcoin, I need you, don't go!
In a world far away. Nah, just kidding. This story begins in this world. It all started in 1460 in Antwerp, when the first commodities exchange was created, but the real transformation came in 1602, when the Amsterdam Stock Exchange was founded. Considered the oldest in the world, it was the first to trade financial assets. Over the years, Britain expanded its colonial and maritime influence, and the British pound sterling overtook the Dutch guilder in the market. Thus, the London Stock Exchange became the financial centre of the world. The 20th century came, and the world got into some trouble. But shortly after World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement established the dollar as the world's primary reserve currency, and the centre of the planet moved to Wall Street. Today, we're travelling at the speed of light towards a new age, an era shaped by the consolidation of Bitcoin as the currency that will define the future of the markets. We present Roxum, a new Bitcoin-denominated market that allows trading all sorts of securities, commodities, derivatives, options, and anything you can imagine. rock-solid markets.
Some call me Chicken Little, others Bubble Boy. I'm a bit changed, but sounds familiar, right? Let me tell you a hard truth. The S&P isn't rising, the dollar's falling. That's the trick, monopoly money. It's ice melting by the second. Your savings, your salary, your time. Worth less every second. Everyone's using the wrong measuring stick. Switch the denominator. Price the S&P into Bitcoin. Hard, fixed, unprintable. Suddenly your unstoppable index, it's collapsing. And while you cling to dollars, well, Wall Street already switched. Before, you needed 2 brokers.
Still getting my ninja bonus though, right?
Plenty of spreadsheets. And my quant!
I hate this part.
I was right, and I'll be right again. If I were you, I'd thank me.
You know my name's Dave, right?
At the tone, please record your message.
Security matters. Zappo Bank. The only way to bank your Bitcoin. Apply now at zappobank.com.
So, tell us about your furry friend here. What's his name?
Oh, this? This is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's not just a cat, he's family.
Quite a name, and I must say, looks quite pampered.
Oh, absolutely. Bitcoin deserves nothing but the best. He's my little prince.
But with such a valuable pet, aren't you afraid of losing him?
Losing Bitcoin? No, it never happened before, so it's not something I worry about. Excuse me for a moment. Bitcoin, stay here, right?
Bitcoin, no! Bitcoin, come on, little buddy, Bitcoin, I need you. Don't go.
In a world far away. Nah, just kidding. This story begins in this world. It all started in 1460 in Antwerp, when the first commodities exchange was created, but the real transformation came in 1602, when the Amsterdam Stock Exchange was founded. Considered the oldest in the world, it was the first to trade financial assets. Over the years, Britain expanded its colonial and maritime influence, and the British pound sterling overtook the Dutch guilder in the market. Thus, the London Stock Exchange became the financial centre of the world. The 20th century came, and the world got into some trouble. But shortly after World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement established the dollar as the world's primary reserve currency, and the centre of the planet moved to Wall Street. Today, we're travelling at the speed of light towards a new age, an era shaped by the consolidation of Bitcoin as the currency that will define the future of the markets. We present Roxum, a new Bitcoin-denominated market that allows trading all sorts of securities, commodities, derivatives, options, and anything you can imagine. Roxum, rock-solid markets.
Some call me Chicken Little, others Bubble Boy. I'm a bit changed, but sounds familiar, right? Let me tell you a hard truth. The S&P isn't rising, the dollar's falling. That's the trick. Monopoly money. It's ice melting by the second. Your savings, your salary, your time. Worth less every second. Everyone's using the wrong measuring stick. Switch the denominator. Price the S&P into Bitcoin. Hard, fixed, unprintable. Suddenly your unstoppable index, it's collapsing. And while you cling to dollars, well, Wall Street already switched. Before, you needed 2 brokers.
Still getting my ninja bonus though, right?
Plenty of spreadsheets. And my quant!
I hate this part.
I was right, and I'll be right again. If I were you, I'd thank me.
You know my name's Dave, right?
Welcome back to Roxham TV, and thanks for sticking around with us after the break. Now, as promised, we are joined by a very special guest to talk about one of the most important and very often misunderstood parts of the crypto industry, which is marketing and communications. Joining us today is Mary Pedler, who is the founder of Input Global, a Dubai-based Web3 PR and communications agency that works with some of the biggest names in the crypto industry. Her team helps projects with media strategy, branding, events, and influencer campaigns, and they have worked with major companies across the Web3 space. Input Global has grown into a global team operating across multiple countries with clients ranging from exchanges to blockchain infrastructure projects. So Mary has been a speaker and moderator at major events like Token 2049, Solana Breakpoint, and other global Web3 conferences where she helps translate complex crypto ideas into stories that mainstream audience can understand. So today we're going to dive into the nitty-gritty of crypto marketing, what actually works, what doesn't, and how projects can stand out in a very crowded industry. So Mary, welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for such kind of introduction. I'm really honored to be here.
Yeah, so since this is your first time here at Roxton TV, why don't we start with a little background, your personal journey? How did you go from where you were to Web3 marketing? Because when I'm going through your background, you're in Dubai right now, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's correct. I'm in Dubai. So I have been a marketer and a public relations specialist for my whole career. So I've received education in bachelor and master's degree in public relations and journalism. So then I've tried different kind of industries like emerging tech, finances, fintech, and I had experience in working with a really great PR agency back in the days, Grok Communications. It was London-based, and I decided to start my own content production agency. In 2020, it was called Crypto Columnist. So basically, our main role was bull run, just for everyone's understanding, and we were lucky to jump in at this period of time. So it was pretty hectic, but we managed to get really big clients in Web3, and we used to produce content for them. So there are still some writers that I have been working with and working right now. And we delivered a high quality content. And then we just started to add more services that we provided. We acquired even better companies in Web3, and we started to be like a PR agency, and we changed our naming, did rebranding into Input PR and marketing. So I've always been in marketing and communications, and I feel like this is really my path and the direction that I need to be evolving in.
Yeah, that was certainly some very impressive resume that you just told me. I'm sure during this journey, you went through a lot of ups and downs as well. So I want to get down into the details, rebuilding your life. You happen to choose Dubai as a new country where your base is at right now. What is one lesson you feel like is the hardest lesson you could share about to our viewers, or maybe what is the smarter decision you made, you could share to some experience you could share to our viewers?
Well, the smartest decision that probably happened to me is just to start my own business and not to hesitate, because sometimes young people are very cautious in terms of the next step that they need to make. But I would say just if you're young and passionate and you have some knowledge and you want to improve your skills and you're not afraid of taking the risk, you just do it. And I had a very tough decision to take when I used to live in another country, and I left to Dubai when my daughter was only 1 year old, just alone with her. I was in divorce already. So it was pretty hard, but exciting at the same time. And I feel like our industry, I mean, crypto, is quite borderless, and you can travel from one destination to another, and it can also be amplified even to your business activities. So if you're working in crypto, if you are running a Web3 startup, most probably you need to target different regions. And this is really giving you great opportunities in terms of travels, in terms of your work destinations, and also in terms of your lifestyle. And that really gave me a great chance to live where I am now, and maybe to change my location in the future as well.
Thanks for sharing that story. I'm sure there were a lot of challenges along the way, moving from where you were to Dubai, and especially as a single mom, it's going to be a tough world out there. So my next question, I kind of want to dive deeper into Dubai, because like we all know the geopolitical issues that are going on in the Middle East. So there were a few strikes that happened in Dubai just last week. I'm not sure if it's still ongoing. Could you share a little bit more, maybe locally on the ground, what is happening? What is the situation in Dubai right now?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the first missile attack happened to us like more than 1 week ago, previous Saturday. So the traditional markets were closed, and I think like the only market that was operating is crypto market. So that was really unexpected. Like some of the people kind of knew that this can happen to us because Iran was kind of planning this, and the United States and Israel were also getting like military equipment to this region. So, but we couldn't expect that Iran will be targeting like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, because we had an impression that these cities are so resilient and they will never be under attack. And so the strikes were happening almost every day. I think yesterday was just the only day where there was no alert and people were not hiding in the shelters. So, sorry, we don't have shelters actually in the garage. I feel like the government is doing really great job in terms of how we perceive this military interception, because the government is doing everything to actually to protect us from. There are still some like drones that we can see, and there are some missile attacks, but you feel kind of safe, and the life is not stopping here. So the shop is the malls are working, like the restaurants are working, the beach is open, so the life is still going on. And I feel like today the offices are continuing to work as they used to work before. So people are back to the offices. Yeah, but hopefully the escalation is happening soon, and we will get back to normal.
Yeah, I'm sure Dubai will recover. I mean, it was so heartbreaking to see the news online, and there was so much. I mean, a lot of people are so fear of Middle East right now, but like you adding to basically from the perspective of you living in Dubai definitely carries a lot of weight. So do you see this more as an opportunity to Dubai for the city to bounce back from here, or there's still maybe a few some time to struggle before finding a balance in Dubai?
Yeah, I feel like there could be some reputational damages short term for sure. Like I think this is the biggest fear that people who are settled down in this region have. Of course, we will not see such huge spikes like in terms of the tourism and global businesses moving here like we saw before. But I feel I'm still bullish about this region in long term. And it might take some time to get like back to normal, but I feel like in long term, especially for crypto, for emerging tech companies, it will still be a very attractive region. Because of the several factors. Like the first factor, especially if we're talking about crypto, is the fact that regulatory frameworks are here in place, and VARA and ADGM did a really great job attracting projects from abroad. Setting like clear regulatory standards. Also, we see huge institutional money flows here, a lot of money from Asia as well. Yeah, and that's why, as I said, I'm pretty bullish, and it might take like a couple of years to get back the business attractiveness of this region, but hopefully it's gonna be done soon.
Yeah, so speaking of the businesses in Dubai, you happen to build a really successful crypto PR or marketing agency, so it's called Input, and you happen to work with really big names in the field, so that include like Forbes and even Bloomberg. So I want to get your advice or maybe your experience because you worked with many tech founders, many crypto builders in the field. Like after seeing so many project builders or basically project ideas, still what is the biggest misconception people have about successful crypto builders overall?
Mm-hmm. I feel like the biggest misconception about the builders is that that's a good one. Let me start with another point. I feel like crypto builders are kind of shifting focus right now, like from, and especially if we're talking about marketing, from hype campaigns towards like building sustainable and long-term product. Especially during the bear market, when you can see that such projects as payments infrastructure, like stable coins or AI plus crypto are thriving, and we don't see any like hype campaign which are like around hype cycles, and crypto builders, crypto founders are now more focusing on personal brands, and the narrative around the founder is kind of is kind of more in the center of the agenda, and this is something that marketing specialists are now paying attention to. Talking about the biggest misconception is that I feel like founders, like all founders, need to pay attention to their personal brands and to have like specialists in house who can help them at least with the strategy, not the content, but at least with the strategy, and to build like very consistent content strategy around their brand, so that it's just to be visible, you know, just to stand out, be visible, and in this way the product gonna be visible as well.
Yeah, that is a really valid point, of course. Your PL actually it has been around for quite a few years, and it kind of changed from like 2022 to right now 2026. And I happen to be around on crypto as well. So like I kind of personally witnessed the narrative switch from a bull market like in 2021. Everything was so easy money, and narrative switched so quickly yet so hypey, and basically building the marketing around during the bull cycle back in 2021, it was extremely easy, like NFT, GameFi, all sort. It was so hype. But like right now in 2026, we are arguably in some crypto winter right now. So like going back to what you just told me, like the founder should really build a brand themselves, instead of just like doing marketing. So I'm wondering like what sort of marketing strategy it works, because like back in the previous cycle, we're seeing projects throwing millions out there to crypto influencers just to show the project. Do you think that strategy still work, or like we are shifting to something else?
Yeah, for sure. So the strategy that a company is choosing in bear market compared to bull market are completely different. So as I said before, bull market, it's about the hype. It's easy to raise money from investors, from retail investors, and from institutional investors as well. So usually the marketeers are focusing on like short-term results. And during the bear market, the narrative is shifting dramatically. So you're more focusing on building, you're more focusing on the product itself, you're more focusing on sustainability of your business, and you need to show that you're going to be here long term, and it's not just like 2 or 3 months project that you're launching. Also, as I said, like personal brands start to play a more important role, and the marketing campaigns that are more targeting like just even corporate brand building, not just a quick ROI type of campaigns.
Yes, that's certainly very interesting because, like, my next question was going to ask that how these projects measure the KPI if everything is more about like building the brand on Twitter. Like, for metrics first, PR, I wonder if you also measure the followers or the engagement of the founders on this X, or maybe it's just like more focused on getting the big names linked up with the crypto project itself.
Well, it really depends on the goal of your business. So if we're talking about like let's say there are 2 types of clients, of companies, B2C and B2B. So if we're talking about B2C, then we are most probably targeting like users, retail investors, and which is easy to measure. So the metrics that I think are very like the most basic metrics in this case will be just the number, if we're talking about social media campaigns, like the number of users, engagement rate, like the quality of the profiles of the users that are following you. If we're talking about B2B, then it's a bit different. And the approach here is also a bit different. So you're going to be most probably working with such communications tools as like media relations, PR, like organizing community, organizing events like private dinners. And then, of course, it will be, you need to see like what kind of the deals the marketing is bringing after the marketing campaigns. And it is even easier to measure because you just see how many companies you have signed agreement with, or how many partners you get, or like if the campaign is targeting like raising institutional money, then you can also target like such communication tools, communication channels that are read or listened by investors. And you can see like the potential interest from investors that is coming from outbound.
Amazing. I really like that, especially coming from a very insider perspective of how crypto PR or marketing works. So my next question, I want to get into the regulation side of things, because global regulations is somewhere like getting stricter, especially on the regions we are talking about. So when you advise these projects, like how can projects still build a very strong narrative while still staying compliant, in your opinion? Could you offer a little bit of perspective on that as well?
Yeah, sure. So we often work with the companies that are targeting different regions where they still have not acquired the license, but they still want to get users from there, or to get like the basic credibility from this region. Then there are a couple of rules. Of course, it depends on the region, but usually the most basic ones are first, don't promote the product directly in this region, like no call to action taglines, no call to action things. If you want to still get publicity in this region, but you don't want to be on the radar of the regulator, then you can use like indirect promotion and types of materials, like for example, thought leadership, where the spokesperson of the company will be talking mostly about like the market, its sentiment, like the problems on the market, but without directly promoting the company or the product. You can also, for example, work with the market reports, market research. Your company can conduct like a report about the market, and this is really well taken by media. In this way, you're also not going to promote the product, but you're more going to be viewed as a market specialist that has strong knowledge in this region.
So would you say, so based on what you just told me, would you say the project success is very much just tied to the perception of the founder themselves? Like if their reputation of founder is good, then they're more likely the project going to succeed, because like from what you just told me, the founder himself or herself still have to go and write the articles about the market, about the basically their own perspectives for the market, where the market is possibly going, in order to get some traction from the traditional media side of things. So like, do you think that is the case, like more about founder themselves, less about the product themselves?
No, it depends on the goals that you have from the marketing. For example, if you are raising funds, if you're raising investments, then we would really recommend focus not only on the product, but on the team and on the founders behind the product as well, behind the project as well. But in general, like it's not only about the founder, of course. There are different formats where you can showcase the product and the company, and to show like the roadmap that you're planning to achieve, maybe some case studies that you have before, or for example, it's really relevant now, and it's really relevant now, for example, to show some statistics on your platform. For example, if it's a crypto exchange, then you can showcase like the trading volume of specific altcoin, and how the behavior of traders is changing because of some, for example, geopolitical conditions. So no, it's not only about the founders, but the founder-led content is something that we see a huge shift in compared to, for example, bull run in 2020 or 2021, when it was just to launch some advertising in crypto media, and that was already a success.
Yeah, I personally do find crypto PR and marketing is getting more complicated for maybe outsider trying to build a crypto marketing themselves, because like basically compared to 2021, it was like so much easier to hype up everything. And in 2026, another difference that we have is that AI. We have like AI as a narrative. So I wonder, like for your company, are you using AI, optimizing AI into crypto marketing, or basically everything is just like human based?
Yeah, of course. I feel like this is very important for companies to survive, and marketing agencies should implement this as well. And we're now building, with the help of Claude, like our platform, like Input Global Hub, which will be accessible to all our team members, where you can see like the progression, the tracking of the company's goal and what's going on in each unit individually. For example, just to demonstrate you some of the things. So of course, we work a lot of the market research, we work a lot of market trends and news. So our content team is using AI tools just to follow the market's agenda, and we can define for each client what kind of content can be relevant, and how we can show our experts and clients show their expertise in specific market trends or market news that are happening. Also, if we're talking about like the events, we're now building the dashboard, which gonna be showing like the all industry relevant events that are happening and where they can be, how we can participate, how we can partner with them, and of course, like operational stuff is. I can't imagine operations now in the agency without AI, because like the OKRs, the P&L, it's all tightened together. And so you can see in the real time, for example, how many deals you have in the pipeline, what is the progress with the payments. And I think like the last thing that we're using right now, and I think like the most important, is building the proposals. So the process of building the proposals, the time of it has synced dramatically from like 2 hours to just maybe 10 minutes. And it's all because of the automation and our internal AI processes.
Yeah, you raised some really valid point, and I agree with you. Like for marketing agency, or maybe just like companies, or as a human in general, like if we don't adopt AI, there's a threat that we're gonna be lag behind or fall behind. So, like speaking of your team, like you managed to build a something very successful. Because like I'm looking at the background, so you built a team of 35 people across 15 countries, so it's very decentralized, with 80% women and over 90% client retention. That's some really impressive figures I'm looking at. So I wonder what's the secret behind building, like basically keeping both talent and also clients for such a long time.
I think the main secret is people. So we believe in people, and since we're very remote, so we can't physically like control people and micromanage them. That's why like the level of responsibility in our company is pretty high. Also, we always hire only like AAA team members that we feel comfortable in, and we don't compromise. Even if it's just a junior manager, then if we see like huge potential in them, then we hire. So the most important thing is people. Then I feel like working remotely is really helping companies now to kind of restructure the internal processes, especially the management processes. And in this way, you can build like a very successful OKR system where you can track OKRs of like all units in the company, all team members on a like monthly or weekly, quarterly basis. And people just understand that it doesn't matter like if what the management will tell, but the main thing is just to achieve the KPIs, close the OKRs, and then the agency will be successful.
Yeah, that's something very interesting, because like I actually talked to a lot of different Web3 projects, a lot of founders, but from what they told me is that they actually prefer having a actual team in person rather than remote. But like, do you so you personally, do you prefer remote team across multiple time zones, so each of the staff could work on a separate task, or you actually prefer more in person, those interaction with employee as well?
Of course, I prefer in-personal interactions, but it depends on like how often you have them. So in our business, we travel all over the world, and we're visiting all of the like major conferences, and we meet with the core team member, with the top management, which is like 10 people in our agency, almost like every 2 months. And during these meetings, we have like strategic sessions. We see other team members. So we have corporate events. So it's not like we work remotely the whole year. We don't see each other. And of course, the core team members are also in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which means that I also see them pretty often. So I would say it's very important to combine in the right way. You need to give people freedom, but you still need to give them personal interaction with the team, because culture team culture is very important, and they want to be bounded.
Yes, I'm sure I'm going to forward this interview to a lot of founders in this space as well. So my next question I want to ask you, if a crypto founder come to you and he want to raise a Series A round in 2026, like what is the one communication strategy they must really get it right? Like otherwise, maybe just forget about raising funds in current condition like this.
I feel like there are some basic things that the company should follow when raising the fund, the round. Sorry. You need to work on the pitch deck. You need to have relevant investors, of course. You need to have the product ready, and you need to have like the traction already. But if it's Series A, I'm pretty sure the company is good. But in terms of the communication strategy, so there should be like what we're gonna do is first we're gonna check like the past media activities, and we're gonna see if there is any crisis that happened before, maybe some negativity or bad coverage or reputation damage, because investors pay huge attention to this. And if the founder or some C-level team members were previously seen in some like bad activities, then this is something that we need to work first of all on. We need to understand what was the problem, how we can argument that, what kind of PR strategy we need to follow in order to solve this kind of problem. Yeah, I think this is like number one step that any PR or communication agency should do before preparing for the round.
Yeah, so right now we just talk about Series A round, but what about for a founder with a much smaller budget? Like, what is your strategy you could offer to smaller founders, but they still want to build great things in the crypto world? So, what's the strategy they could use to get attention from investors and also from media?
If you're just starting your journey, and if you're just starting to raise funds, probably you need to pay attention to the most basic things, such as the website, social media. You need to check that the narrative is consistent, that your positioning is consistent, that it's up to the market. Like you need to check like if there are like no grammar mistakes on the website, and of course, the founders' social media, such as LinkedIn, X, if we're talking about Web3 companies, also are in place, and the investors can understand like what kind of background you have, what you're building, if there is a clear roadmap. And to get attention from the media, you need to have like a PR specialist or like the PR firm who is working for you, because it's like journalists, like, right? Journalists receive huge number of requests from even bigger brands, and it's almost impossible to get seen by media if you're just starting your journey.
Yes, that is some really good tips. And you not only help builders to build more basically the social media, but you also organize events in real person, like the whispers during Token 2049. So what makes a private event actually valuable than just another party that people want to grab a few free drinks?
So the guest list is the key. Everyone, especially in crypto with huge marketing budgets, pretty spoiled with the parties, especially when you see, for example, during Token 2049, like 100 events happening at the same day. So how you can stand out? If you're an event organizer, or if you're a company that is planning an event, then the first thing you need to pay attention to is to bring the quality audience. And it doesn't matter whether like what kind of event it's going to be, but the main thing is people. And to get the best ROI from the event, of course, you need to focus not on like loud branding or, I don't know, huge party, like the best DJ or whatsoever, but the audience that you're onboarding.
Yes, amazing. You definitely raised many really good points, especially from a insider's perspective of how to build a crypto project successfully, even in the current market stance in 2026. So my last question I want to ask you before we end this segment, like looking back at your journey after going through multiple ups and downs or in cycles, because like your PR was around like a few years ago as well. So like, what is the one thing you wish you knew before you first arrived in Dubai and building your own company?
That I'm capable of achieving anything, and I should not have any doubts in myself. Maybe I would be more proactive in the university, and because sometimes it felt like in order to get knowledge, you need to constantly educate yourself. But yeah, focusing on yourself, on your education, never have any doubts. Everything is achievable, especially in crypto. The industry is still young and there are huge opportunities here for everyone, especially for those who are ready to adopt new technology. I feel like this is the best industry so far for young people to jump in and to just to be, I don't know, in the most maybe in the most stylish industry that we have right now and with the greatest opportunity. And yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
it is
amazing. I
time.
love it. I love it. It's truly inspiring to get to know your journey and how you managed to build a very successful crypto PR in Dubai in a completely new country. So, Mary, I wish you all the success you could have in the whole crypto PR scene. So, like last question, I promise you is the last one. Like for our viewers who want to get to know more about input or maybe your own perspective about the market, where's the best way to reach out to you?
Input.global. We have a forum on the website. Also, I have LinkedIn account where I'm pretty active and I'm monitoring all messages. So please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to connect with people.
Yes, guys. So do give Mary and also Input a follow on Twitter and also on their website as well. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have got for today's segment. My show is Monday through Friday, starting at 3 a.m. Eastern Time. We've still got other shows lined up here by other hosts, so do make sure to stick around. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's